your team navigate the rest of this week after we caught up, looking at the game against Portland on Sunday?
Well, we've had some time since we all spoke to get away. 3-4 days that the players were allowed to kind of leave market and put the game aside, and so I think that's a really good thing, and I think we've managed the lull here in the right way of intensity and learning and pushing ourselves, but also getting away and recharging. So excited about the opportunity to play a game again at home against a very good team who knows exactly who they are. Portland's a very tough opponent that can hit you in a bunch of different ways, but one way in transition, the way they strike in transition is at a really high level. So we'll have to be careful of that. And again, just looking forward to getting back to playing, and then of course we have a quick turnaround for the Open Cup semifinal. So it's going to be a busy next 4 or 5 days, but one we're looking forward to.
Thank you for that. We'll start here with Jorge. Go ahead, Jorge.
Hey, Coach. You come back to reality in league play. Yellow card accumulations. You've got 4 players that are 1 yellow card away. Caicedo, Achache, Fyodchenko, and Mikhail. How can you prevent them getting a yellow card?
I can't prevent it. It happens. They're going to be suspended at some point. Play the game to win, and yellow cards happen. So it's nothing. Our concern is if one's out because of that at some point, we'll just next guy up.
You've got Kovalchuk, potentially teenage back very, very soon. Have you thought of how you line up the team in the future?
Have I thought about what?
How you'll line up the team in the future?
If
whether it's at Portland, or how you'll implement them into the squad?
Sebastian. Yeah, we've got some ideas on where we want to, what scenarios we would put him into a game, and certainly we understand where he would play on the field, but it's also it's still a new group for him, and he's learning a lot of, we're giving him a lot of information. And we got to make sure we're putting him in the right spot to succeed at the right time in the right scenarios, depending on the game state. So we're figuring all that out. But so far he's been great. He's fit in very well with the guys, and I think he fits his skill set for where we see him and how he can help us. We've seen it on the field so far. He's a really clever player, comfortable on the ball. He moves at the right speed. He's athletic enough for the league. Good second line running, can finish balls off, and he's started to even early create some relationships with other players. So it's a nice pickup.
Yeah, and teenage as well. Any update on this?
Yeah, teenage is going to be several weeks, and we have over the next few weeks where he jumps into training, and that's going to be a day-to-day process to see how he looks and how quickly we can incorporate him back into the first team. Got some D2 games coming up. Maybe he could see time in. We have the international break where we can continue to push him and get him in with the first team, because trainings are going to be limited here over the next 2 weeks. There's a lot of games, and so the training loads will be half and half, and not as the first team will be on more regen and preparing for the next game. So we got to find him real training sessions and moments, and whether it's with the times it won't be able to be with the first team. So we got to try to find him some minutes with some of these D2 games.
And lastly, any update on Brooklyn Reigns?
In regards to what? Yeah, he's fine. Yeah, sorry, he's trained the last 2 days. And we're actually going to move him to get a game in San Jose. Keep pushing him along. He's not getting the first team minutes that he would like, but he understands the importance of these D2 games. Kenny does a good job with these guys, and we've used Thor and a bunch of first team guys down there, and they all go down there with the right mentality and understand that it helps them. And we see a lot of evidence that when they do come back from there, getting the minutes, it helps in sharpness and training, and when we use them in the first team games.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Rudy, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, Rudy.
Hey, and I think in the past you mentioned how the season obviously is broken into different sections. Now you're heading into the final 11 games of the regular season. Knowing that the team obviously has, the ability to make the playoffs, do you approach this game on Sunday like an elimination game? Sorry, like you would like RSL per se, or what is the mentality going towards against Portland?
The mentality right now is all focus, all eyes, all prep is on Portland and trying to get a win at home. In some ways it makes it easier for a coach to prepare for these next couple games because they're all at the highest importance because of where we're at in the table. We're not second place in the West where we can throw a game away to focus on just the Open Cup. So we go after the next one. And then, of course, we always have an eye on Wednesday. And if you have that luxury, there's scenarios and ways to set yourself up for success in the next game. But ultimately, you have to take the game in front of you. And it's a vital matchup for us. Portland's right below us. They want to go where we are. We want to go forward to give ourselves a little bit more cushion, not be right on that line all the time. So it's we'll go after this game, and then the second that ends, we'll evaluate what we have and go after the Salt Lake game as if that's the most important game of the season, and we'll just keep doing that until the end of the year. And that's exhausting, but that's where we're at, and that's the final third portion of every season, especially when you're in the situation we're at. We have a cup game we want to advance in, and every game is crucial if we're going to meet our objective of getting into the postseason.
And then last one for me, obviously you've been, in the MLS coaching for quite a long time. And, Giovanni Tavares is a guy that you match up against plenty of games as well. Does it come a little tricky, after, facing a coach that you think you may know well? Does it make that like chess match a little bit more intense per se? I just wanted to...
I usually don't go into games, me versus Gio or, we evaluate their team and how they're playing, and there's enough data and info on these teams on what they do well and what they, it was some areas where we think we can get after or exploit, or so we focus on that. We focus on the making sure our players understand the opponent, where we can maybe take advantage of them, but also where we need to be shoring up some of their strengths and making sure we counter some of the areas that they are having success in. So it's not this isn't about me or Gio. I got a lot of respect for the guy, I'll tell you that. I love his energy, I love his passion. I think we're cut from the same cloth in some ways, in the way we have our blood, even though I'm not Venezuelan, but I think we have some of the same blood and passion. And he's done a great job there. And Portland, they haven't deviated too much from what they do over the years. It's a committed group. It's athletic, very, very good in transition, and we'll have our hands full.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Joey, go ahead.
Hey, Coach.
Joey.
You've been changing around the fullbacks all season. Do you feel you finally found the right combo now with Escobar and Dorsey?
Yeah, Griffin in particular has really come on and helped us over the last 3-4 games. It's nice to see. I've talked about it. He's a great teammate, and he's really in the right way waited for his time. And he's come in and done a very, very good job for us. He's a little different than Franco in that he's more vertical. He's able to get to the end line and get more service off and combine and score in a way that Franco, it's not necessarily his skill set. And, Franco moving over to the left, he is kind of a hybrid center back / wide back. And I think the position he's in now is a really good one for him. Occasionally he can join the attack, but he's good in helping us build and also in transition defending. He's good, and he's a warrior, and he's got a real personality. So to answer your first question, yes, that's probably our starting back four right now. That are our preferred back four. But guys like Ethan and Daniel, as Teenage gets back into this, we will have some other decisions to make. And we like our depth right now there, but hopefully we don't necessarily have to use it. But it's inevitable. We got 3 games here coming up, and then a quick turnaround after that with Columbus. So all is we'll see, but it's a good group back there. Then they're open to moving. They've all year. Franco's been an attacking left back, holding the left back. He's been an attacking right back. He's been a holding right back. So these guys have really been moved around and asked. We've asked a lot of them, and they've held up pretty well over the course of the year.
And do you think Teenage could slot into that role that Escobar is playing, or do you prefer to keep him more in the center?
We'll see. I haven't, he hasn't. If in the future, well, if Teenage is in that mix, I think Teenage could play on the left. I also think he could play in Mika's spot in the center as we build, but also. And Mika, we've played him out wide in the position that Franco's playing right now as well. That left back that ends up staying a little bit more. So it's teenage can do both. Mika can do both. Franco, so that flexibility we haven't seen it. So as Teenage comes back, that'll be part of the challenge is to incorporate him back in, but only when he's ready and only when we decide that he's going to be an upgrade.
And with Sebastian Kowalczyk coming in, how has he been training, and how could you take advantage of his versatility in the coming games?
Well, as I said, he can play in where Amin's playing in the 10 spot. He could play a Coco spot, kind of a tucked in right-sided player. He's not bad in isolation out wide. So if we played him on the left, he false 9. He's very, very versatile. So it's really about giving him the right amount of information right now. So not necessarily on the offensive end, that comes very natural to him. Making sure he understands what we're asking for him from him on the defensive end, where he needs to be, what we look like lower in the game and defensively. So he understands, kind of those defensive relationships, but offensively the game comes easy to him. So I'm less worried about that than I would be him understanding his defensive roles, and that'll dictate, how much with scenarios that he's popping into games right now. I think certain scenarios make sense for him. Certain scenarios maybe not because of that he hasn't spent a lot of time training. In training, he's been great. Learning good energy, he's fitting in with the guys, learning Spanish, and he's a neat kid.
Thank you so much, Ben. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll wrap up here with Sam. Go ahead.
Hi, Ben.
Sam.
Yeah, how you doing?
Good.
All right.
How are you?
I'm all right. A few days ago, when we spoke to you at the training, after the training, you said that you want to see more offensive production in terms of set pieces and all that. So my question is this: how does that wanting more factored into your overall preparation for this game, and will that affect your selection against Portland Timbers?
It doesn't necessarily affect my when I make a selection. Very rarely does it. Not very rarely. There's picking a player to be in the starting lineup. Set pieces doesn't always come into play in that. There are certain games where we're playing an opponent that's bigger, or or is having a lot of success on set pieces, that I may choose some different personnel to counter that. What we're focusing on now in getting some more production out of on the set pieces is rhythm, timing, making sure we boil it down. I think at times we've been a hair more too complex in what we're trying to ask, and rather than just fill in lanes and being more a little bit meaner in there and a little more brave and cutthroat in how we get on the end of things. Service is a big part of it. Without, you can do all you want, if the service isn't there, it's not going to work. So we're and that's just about reps, trust, bravery, timing. It's not brain surgery, and we need to, again, just it's 3 or 4 components working in unison. And if we can get that going, I think we have the guys, when they do get their bites, to score goals. So we're working on it. We're working on it.
Thank you. Wish you luck on Sunday, Coach.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, guys, we'll wrap up with that one. We'll have media resources later today. Ben?
There you go. That's great.
No.